Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. This 90-day fiancé couple's marital trouble claims just don't add up. There is one 90-day fiancé couple whose marital trouble claims aren't adding up. 90-Day Fiancé Season 11 just wrapped up, and Shekinah Garner and Sarper Guven's marriage was in a very hot and cold place. Shekinah and Sarper were originally featured in 90-Day Fiancé, The Other Way Seasons 5 and 6, when the pair were trying to figure out what they wanted their future to look like. After realizing being in Turkey was not going to work for them full-time, Shekinah and Sarper applied for the K-1 visa, and Sarper landed in America in fall 2024. Sarper had a lot of difficulty adjusting to being in America without work and family, and his and Shekinah's past issues of mistrust, quick-to-anger moments, and miscommunications continued. Despite which, the pair decided to get married. However, when they showed up to the Season 11 tell-all, they had a lot of resentment towards one another. Sarper had moved out for 10 days, less than a month after their wedding. They spent the night before the tell-all in separate rooms, and Shekinah spent Christmas alone. However, they may be putting up a false front. Shekinah and Sarper were painting an interesting financial picture leading up to 90-Day Fiancé Season 11. The pair had an agreement that Sarper would pay for Shekinah's trips to Turkey, since she was doing all the traveling. However, it was unclear how Sarper afforded that given he is only a fitness instructor and lost half his clientele when Shekinah said he couldn't train females. On Shekinah's side, she came off as very rich because she was able to afford plastic surgeries, put her daughter through boarding school, and live a lavish-looking LA lifestyle. But during 90-Day Fiancé Season 11, when Shekinah and Sarper were talking to Shekinah's friends and the idea of a prenup came up, there was some alarming news. Shekinah said a prenup would be wise, but Sarper was very against it. Shekinah protested that a prenup would help Sarper too, since he had more assets than her. So in Season 11, when Sarper says he is relying on Shekinah, it doesn't really make sense. It seems like the dynamic and portrayal they are trying to show is not entirely accurate when it comes to their finances and how they arrange them. Even though Shekinah and Sarper had been on 2 seasons of The Other Way, there was a huge piece of news that fans didn't find out until Season 11. The pair had previously dropped the bomb that Sarper had a child that he never saw, and that Sarper wanted a child with Shekinah. However, that storyline and huge conversation were dropped in favor of a different narrative. In Season 11, Sarper divulged that he had been married before. Usually, that means someone is in love, but Sarper has sworn up and down that he's only ever loved Shekinah. Sarper being a divorcee was convenient news because it added another layer to his and Shekinah's drama. It almost seemed fabricated since Sarper being a player before Shekinah was an idea that heavily pushed between the pair. Another reason why Sarper and Shekinah might be fooling 90-Day Fiancé fans is because, during the tell-all, they came back together in a mushy way after an ugly fight when Sarper gave Shekinah an overdue sizable wedding ring. The gesture seemed planned and is suspect considering how much disdain they had for one another shortly before that moment. Moreover, Shekinah and Sarper were recently spotted by a 90-Day Fiancé fan, via u/PolishSnake2 on Reddit, with Sarper's parents. The foursome were stateside as they were catching a flight from Miami to LA. Things must be better than they are letting on if Sarper's parents, whom he is very close to, were able to come to America and visit the pair. The 90DF alumni couple seem to inflate their issues on screen, when things aren't in peril in real life. Shekinah and Sarper could have an angle to the tactic of high-emotion drama on screen versus a relatively normal life off-screen. They could be trying to retain their 90-Day Fiancé spotlight by coming up with new angles and dynamics in their relationship that lead them to have strong reactions that draw viewers. With their alleged marital problems, Shekinah and Sarper could be gearing up to try and be cast on the 90-Day, The Last Resort spin-off, which is a therapy-style show. Shekinah is also no stranger to reality TV, as she was previously on Baggage and Millionaire Matchmaker, so her goal may be to retain her celebrity. Moreover, there were rumors that Shekinah, Sarper, and her family would get their own spin-off, as her family had a Kardashian-like vibe. In any case, Sarper and Shekinah may be trying to present themselves as authentically as they can, and they have as many wild problems as they portray. The 90-Day Fiancé franchise gives many cast members with played-out and predictable storylines screen time after time, and Sarper and Shekinah, regardless of their authenticity, may be one of them.